the weather, my makeup. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I have the update for my pan those eyeshadows. So pan those eyeshadows is where you try to hit pan in eyeshadows. That's the gist of it. I'm following the spreadsheet that Makeup with Laney made. That is all linked down below if you're curious like what this project is, and to the spreadsheet. She made 100 prompts and you randomize your prompts and then you pick your shadows. This gives me a little bit more control as in what color story I'm ending up with, as opposed to just randomizing the shadows. I did that for a while. That is not for me. So I'm randomizing prompts and then I'm picking shadows, and it's proven to work pretty good for me. I wanted to hit pan in a shadow for every prompt that was in that list, so that's 100 pans. I'm gonna update my spreadsheet in a little bit and we will see how many prompts there still are. I feel like we're very close to being done, but who knows. First, let's go check out all of my shadows that I was working on this month. So the first shadow I rolled in for the prompt, a fantasy self shadow, and I told you guys my fantasy self would be like very emo, I don't know, just very cool, like the polar opposite of this, what I did right now, which is very bright and colorful and kind of like sweet, I would want to say. Yeah, my fantasy self is the polar opposite of that. Dark, grungy, very cool girl. So I rolled in the shade Rome from Michael Beauty Shop. And this is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see I hit pan. This is such a cool shadow. It's like, I mean, I cannot even show you all the shifts, because if I look at it like this, I can see purple, it shifts to blue. It is just stunning. I really enjoyed working on that shadow. I did some pretty cool, like very dark outer corners, and I had to use that 3 times in order to hit pan. These shadows are very soft, so they do move around quite a bit, so they're quite easy to hit pan on, but still, I love them. Then for the prompt newest shadow, I rolled in a shadow from my ColourPop Twilight palette, because those are the newest shadows in my collection. I was a little bit worried because ColourPop is not easy to hit pan on, but this one is much less deep than the smaller pans that ColourPop made. So I don't know, maybe they have the same amount of product in them, but these pans are just wider, so maybe that's why they're less deep. I don't know. But I was working on the shade Ice Cold, which was a very easy inner corner highlight, and this is what it looks like today. So I managed to hit pan, and it took me 10 uses to hit pan. Then I rolled the prompt to remind you of fall, and I chose a shade from the, well, it's originally from the Milani 𝓮𝓬𝓹 palette. I depotted that palette and I got rid of a whole lot of shadows. I have 4 left in my collection, and I put them in the packaging from the Vivo Cosmetics 1UP palette, and I picked this red shadow right here. Hopefully you can see there at the top that I was able to hit pan. I don't know what this, do I know what this shadow is called? No, that's not what it's called. It's in the spot of hit point. I don't know what it's called. I didn't really love the shadow. It had a lot of fallout, an insane amount of fallout, and very little color payoff. So it is not my favorite shadow. It might be on the chopping block, but I'm happy that this project really made me realize that I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. It took me 3 uses to hit pan, so not too bad. And I think it really helped that that shadow was repressed into a different pan, so it was more loose than maybe it would have been in its original pan. Moving on, I have a shadow from my BeautyBay Love Notes palette, and this was picked because I had to do a random color generator, and the random color generator showed a dusty mauve pink, and I rolled in this shade from the palette called, what are you called? Cheeks, which is kind of fitting because I have been using this as a blush, and I've loved it as a blush. I'm wearing it today as a blush. I know, it's just cute pink, not too bright, and I feel like it really works for this time of year. I have used this 26 times so far. I don't know if you can tell, but you can sort of start to see the, well, do we call it a waffle pan? I think we might. Like in the pan. So you can see here with this empty pan, that like grid. I don't know, do you call it a waffle pan? I don't know if that's the right word, but you can start to see that in this shadow. I think you can see right there. See? But I have been seeing that since use number 10. So I don't know. Looking at it, I feel like I'm not close to pan at all. Especially not if I look at this empty pan. That is not shallow. And I feel like I'm not close to pan on this one. But then seeing that waffle, maybe I am. So anyway, I can roll my shadows out after 2 months and 15 uses minimum. So this one is staying in, but I've been loving using it as a blush, so it's fine. So this one will stay. Then the next prompt was shadow that starts with N. I rolled in a shade for my Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. I rolled in the shade Nubia, which is right there. A very yellow gold shadow. I love my gold, so this wasn't hard to work on. I used this 11 times and I was able to hit pan. And I'm pretty sure it only had like one previous use, so 11 uses to hit pan on this is not too bad. And then the last prompt was something you want to pan. Now at this point, I don't even know what I want to pan anymore. I've panned so much. It's difficult to pick one, but I ended up picking a shadow that I had put in my Pan That palette for 2025. So I built that palette. I was not officially working on it because it wasn't 2025 yet when I rolled it in, or when I built it. So I decided to roll in one shadow from that palette to maybe hit pan before 2025 started. And I was actually able to do that. So I was working on the shade Lace Up, which is right here. And this is what it looks like. So now I have a pan. So it took me 8 uses to hit pan. And I've since used it just on my own. And now for 2025, I'm using it in my project for Pan That palette. So if you're interested in that, I will link that video for you guys. But yeah. That is rolling out. So we have one shadow staying in. I'm gonna roll 5 new prompts. I'm gonna update my wheel because I need to take out the shadows that we've hit pan on. The prompts from the shadows that we've hit pan on. So right now I have 16 prompts left. I've blocked out the prompt random color generator because that prompt is still in. All of the others can be rolled, so we're gonna roll 5 of these prompts. Oh, my sound is on. So sorry. First one is a shadow you want to pan. Great. Red Shadow Matte. Okay, I've been dreading this one forever, since the start of this project. But okay. Shadow that starts with L. How many have I done? 1, 2, 3. 3. Shadow from a palette with no pans. Oh, okay. And then last one. something you don't want to pan. Okay, well, I'm gonna check my collection and I will be right back. Okay, that was very difficult. Oh my gosh. We were doing so good. I don't know if I can do good this month. Is there a bird? Are you gonna catch the bird? And 1, 2, 3, smile. Ooh, there's 2 birds now. Go get him. Go get him. I think the tail is here to stay. Okay, so I'm gonna try and continue with a cat on my lap, looking out at 2 big fat birds in our yard. Who knows what's gonna happen? So this round of prompts was difficult. I'm gonna close off with a shadow you want to pan and a shadow you don't want to pan, because those 2 are very interchangeable. That was difficult. Let's start with my BeautyBay Love Notes palette. This palette loves to be in all kinds of projects. A red shadow matte. I don't know if this counts, but I'm gonna say it is a red. I want to work on the shade Ruby. And also because it's called Ruby, I was like, rubies are red, right? So I'm gonna work on this. This has been scratched up because I've used it to make fake blood one time for a Halloween party or something. So that's what that is. Let's see if I can hit pan. And then the second shade also comes from this palette, a shadow that starts with L. I'm gonna be working on the shade Lavender, which is right here. This purple matte, well, lavender. So we're gonna do that. Not very excited about it, but okay. A shadow from a palette with no pans. I have 1 palette. No, that's a lie. I have 2 palettes that I could pick from. I just remembered that I have another palette, but there's no shadows in there either that I really am jumping for joy to work on. So I'm gonna go with this one. My Alice in Wonderland Cheshire Cat BeautyBay palette. These pans are deeper than the standard BeautyBay shadows are. And you can hate me all you want for this, but I'm gonna work on the white. I know that's boring, but I have a shot at hitting pan in this. The other colors, I don't think so. So we're gonna work on the white. And then the 2, do I want to pan them or don't I want to pan them? It's whatever. I picked a shadow from the Peacock Feathers palette called The One. It is this purple shimmer right here. And I've originally put it down for I want to pan this because I want to have a pan in the last shimmer in here. But when swatching it, I was like, that's a deep dark purple, so do I want to pan this? I don't know. And then the other shadow that I put down for I don't want to pan is a 𝓮𝓂𝓮𝓼. This is the shade Delicate Acidity. This is what it looks like. Barely any use on this. And I was like, I don't want to pan this because these pans are very deep. I have multiple in my collection, but I don't know if you can see the gaping holes that these pans are. And this one is also very firmly pressed. Like this one, you can see the texture is very different from this one, so it's gonna be hard to pan. So I was like, I don't want to pan that, but it does work really nicely with my cool tone shadows in my pan that palette, so I sort of do want to pan it. So the two I do want to pan it and I don't want to pan it are kind of, I guess, interchangeable. It's whatever. We're gonna work on these shadows. So here is the complete color story. This one is Rolling Over, the one that I use as a blush shade. So here we have the purple shimmer from the Peacock Feathers palette. Like, it's stunning, but it's intimidating. The red and the lavender from the BeautyBay Love Notes palette, the white from the Cheshire Cat palette, and the 𝓮𝓂𝓮𝓼. So it is I don't know, it's sort of a cohesive color story. I mean, it's very cool tone purple, so I think I could do something with it. I don't know how long it's going to take me to hit pan in all of these shadows. I don't know. I'm going to predict it's not going to be as successful round as the last one was. And maybe some of my previous ones were. But we shall see. This is all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I really hope to see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.